Hello, everybody. It's your buddy Nico. We're here for an impromptu episode 2 of the N Word. Today's guest is Greg LeVitre, and we're going to be discussing his campaign Gun Demon. And it's got, I think, right around 4 days left, a little less than 4 days left in his campaign. So, without further ado, Greg, there we are.
Hail Comicsgate.
Hell yeah. Happy to have you here. Hail the Comicsgate, hail the chat.
Glad to be here.
It's good to see you, man.
Likewise, man.
So how
And
are
we've been
things going?
interacting for quite a while, just in the the chats of streams and everything. So it's cool to finally hang out and shoot the shit.
Definitely, man. It's awesome. Like that's actually one of the best parts about this is like actually talking to people face to face, one on one, especially when you've seen each other in the chat and, you know, want to get to know what's going on with somebody else and what they're working on and stuff. It's a lot of fun to be able to, pop
Yeah.
up on a video screen and one on one like this. So it's
Well,
awesome
the
to
most
have you here
important part of a community is the people.
for sure. And
If you don't know the people in your community, what do you fucking know?
there you go,
Right?
man. So tell me about Gun Demon. Tell the audience
Yeah.
about Gun
So
Demon.
Gun Demon is the first title we're launching from Brain Cage Continuity, which is it's a shared universe from our company Brain Cage Multimedia, which by the way is a creator-owned co-op, and we're making products from all kinds of different entertainment industries and mediums. But we're kicking off our Brain Cage Continuity universe with Gun Demon, and basically some a little brief look into our universe will start in Gun Demon, where you're going to find out as a reader that planets heaven and hell have been these are actual planets, not supernatural places, and that they've been battling it out for some time on Earth. And you're going to be introduced to this new type of humanoid demon for the first time. Demons are made in a humanoid type shape for to be operatives on Earth, and given a little bit of human DNA in there to boot. And 100 of this model called Mauler demon is produced. One of them is made to be an advanced model, and I'm sure you can guess which one that is. And there's a much greater story that will be unraveled over time as to why he was created. But that's the beginning of our buddy Gunny there,
Awesome.
known to the public as the Gun Demon, but Gunny to his friends and death to his enemies.
Nice.
And yeah, he's a genetically engineered organism that was designed for one mission and to be a throwaway weapon, essentially. But he came to Earth, experienced some joy for the first time, made a few friends, and decided, I don't really want to. I don't want to hurt people. I want, I want to help people. I like belonging somewhere. I like having community, having friends, and so he, starts growing into a hero.
Nice. I really dig the story.
Thank you.
The art looks great too, man.
Yeah,
Looks
it's
good.
one of the things we do in Brain Cage. We're wanting to really, and by the way, my sequential team, I couldn't have a better team. I've got John Howard on pencils and
Mhm.
layout. I've got Cheese Windhall on inks, and I've got Paul Billick on colors. And it's just an absolute phenomenal sequential team.
Yeah.
All of them very very experienced at what they do, very reliable, efficient, and just top tier quality, as you can see.
Yeah, man.
That is a
Beautiful
variant
art.
cover right there. That's called the Bad Day cover. This is
Okay.
my villain Abaddon that you're
Oh,
gonna meet in issue 1 here of Gun Demon. And if Abaddon's looking at you like that, he's near enough to you, and he's looking at you like that. It's a bad day, bro. It's a real bad day. He's one of the things we love in Brain Cage is monsters.
yeah.
You know, we're
Gross.
tired of the relatable villains all the damn time. We just want some big monsters. We want some powerful forces of nature, or, perhaps not nature, but
Yeah,
science. But you know, we want those types of villains that can fill you with fear and dread,
I dig it.
and produce nightmares. And this is the first one we're showing off. His name is Abaddon, straight out of Christian demonology.
That's awesome.
That cover there is that is the Fight and Flight cover by Christian Rossi,
That's
and colors
beautiful.
by Paul Billick. Yeah, Christian's absolutely one of my favorite artists. In this era, he's
Yeah,
fucking awesome. He's very just a great guy to work with. Super awesome
yeah.
professional guy.
I'm digging what I'm seeing, man. That's
Hmm.
beautiful piece of art.
Yeah, man. It's this team, this creative team's just been phenomenal. I'm really lucky that I got some of the people I got, and there you're going to see that's the Mighty Mechalore. That's
Oh
one of my
yeah.
other characters in the Brain Cage universe, one that I own, and he is that's art by Isan Fazeli. It's his design. Isan's my partner on that project, very much my partner on that, and this character here, his name is Farzine Ahangar. He
Okay.
is a Persian, which, if you don't know what Persian, it's Iranian essentially, but he's from Iran, and he's basically kind of our Tony Stark in a way, but he's so much more. He's a very, very unique character. He's the first character, first human in that universe to reverse engineer Seraphim technology.
Oh
The
wow.
Seraphim are a species that reside on planet Heaven, a very advanced and highly evolved species, and they don't use their technology for mechs because they are very physically powerful beings, and so their technology is meant to augment what they already have. They're very proud of their strength and their endurance, and closest thing to Kryptons, I guess, we have in the Brain Cage continuity universe.
Okay.
And he but Farzine is he's just a human, but he's a very brilliant one, and
Right
he
on.
works for a weapons manufacturing corporation, and he successfully reverse engineers Seraphim tech to build this mech, and it's the first mech of its power level on planet Earth. It's there are mech programs and have been for decades in this Earth, but nothing of the power level like we see in the Mighty Mechalore here. You're going to first see him in action in Gun Demon #1. You see him and Gunny working together.
Nice. Yeah, I really dig that design.
Thank you.
It's very,
Yeah,
very
Eson's
cool.
amazing, and I'll tell you, I had very little input on that design, which is typically not how I do character designs,
Uh,
like develop them and such. When I usually work very closely with artists, but in that case, I just told him, "Hey, go for a design around this size level and build it to do something that can do melee as well as ranged combat against, human size to Titanic size characters, villains." So
okay.
Eson just made it happen. I told him about 16 feet tall, somewhere around there, 16 to 20 feet tall, and he just boom, he did that. And I'm like, sold. No changes necessary. Sold.
Yeah,
So yeah.
very cool. Tell me about World War Hell. What is this?
Well, this is something I need to make an announcement officially about. But the creator of World War Hell actually recently left Brain Cage,
Oh,
and so we're still talking about what we're going to do about this. This is the first time I'm announcing it, but yeah, he's decided to leave Brain Cage. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. I think he's going to take the brand World War Hell, and I think he wants to work out a deal to where I'll keep the character you see there, Blitzkrieg and Prang and some of the others, because I heavily co-developed that
mhm.
content. I don't know what's going on there, so I'm trying to be transparent as transparent as I can for backers and potential backers. But whatever ends up working out there, if him and I can't work out a deal, then what you're going to end up getting is the Mighty Mechalore issue 0,
Mhm.
which will be the origin story of, the Mighty Mechalore. It's Farzine, how he becomes the Mechalore. So it'll be of similar quality level. Whatever ends up happening, I promise that 10-page issue 0 is going to be something. It's going to be something great.
Right on.
So yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that he's pulled out of Brain Cage, because I just love World War Hell, and we put 3 years of work into that. But
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
really bummer, man.
creative
It's
differences, I guess, is I guess what happened there. I'm not sure, to be
you know,
quite honest, but yeah. So,
um,
but Mechalore is, I own that IP. I also have some others I'm launching in the near future. So yeah, there will be something
nice.
of similar quality that the backers will get in an issue 0.
Excellent.
I'm going to make an announcement very soon, probably later today. I'll make a post in the campaign itself for my backers.
I
But
love these interiors, man. This team you got, hang on to them as long as you can, man.
yeah,
They're
man,
very
I'm so
talented
lucky.
guys.
Well, John Howard is the heart of that team. He's the foundation. He's the penciler, and he's worked in the industry for quite a while. He's done big name books. He's done like Doctor Who and several other big name books. So
Nice.
he's a veteran. He's very reliable. He's very efficient, and he wants to do Gun Demon for years to come. And the other guys are really excited about it as well,
Mhm.
and they want to do it for a long time too. We're working on building this as a long-term thing, and eventually, what we want to do with Brain Cage continuity titles is we want to sell them in the retail shops, local comic shops.
Yeah,
We want to, be able to ship these, one monthly issues. We may start bi-monthly. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to see once we get to that stage, because wrenches get thrown into the spikes, kind of like this World War Hell wrench,
sure.
here and there, and things take you by surprise. So we'll
Yeah,
see how long that's going to do. But we want to, how long it's going to take. But we definitely want to get to selling retail ASAP.
that's
But I
awesome.
do want to say that backers will always get it before retail outlets. I'm not going to sign any kind of contract like like Allegiance did, where backers, didn't even get their shit. Like some of the backers had to go to Walmart to buy the book to be able to
Yeah,
read it. I mean,
yeah, that's a real bummer about
yeah,
that entire situation. Although I will say, you know, when I actually saw the books at my local Walmart, and I was stunned to actually see them. One and two, once I when I noticed Kelsey Shannon's name on any of those books, I grabbed them. I grabbed them strictly for his art, and then I ended up reading like Nora's Saga, and I really enjoyed it, which is kind of like it's bittersweet because of that situation, because it's like, oh man, like a lot of people didn't get their books, but here they are just sitting in my dump of a Walmart, and you know, I'm sure there's people that you know don't even know that they're at Walmart and
mm-hmm.
are, who knows, maybe it turned them off of comics, and I hope that's not the case because it's actually, Nora's Saga is a great book. I enjoyed it a lot. Um, and the
I didn't really get into it.
No,
It Nah, it didn't really. The art is good. Kelsey's
yeah,
a hell of an
oh yeah,
artist,
he's
no doubt
amazing.
about that. But I don't know. It didn't really give me uh, what I want out of a comic book.
Mm,
Personally, it's a matter of taste, I guess.
yeah,
It. I want a little more story, I guess. Something to commit to.
mhm.
I did. I
Those
like
are
really. I like. I'm more of like a Stan Lee school of comic book. I guess editorial,
yeah,
mindset, where you open up the page, there needs to be something either very interesting or action packed going on right on the page,
yeah,
and that
agreed.
way somebody wants to turn to the next page. And I want to know these characters. Really, all I got from that book is a little girl. I think she loses her parents, if I recall, in a
Yeah,
car wreck or something.
yeah, like, well,
And the
something happened.
monsters are all imaginary, so it wasn't even like it didn't establish any antagonist or anything like that. There's no plot established with the characters going through it. I don't know what's going on after having read it at all still.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. It's not really my thing, but it's a good quality book. I won't talk shit about Kelsey's art. That's for damn sure. He's great.
Yeah. I
I'd like to see him do something like superhero. I'm very much into the superhero genre when it comes to comics
yeah.
personally. So that might be also why it didn't really grab me, but others might have really enjoyed it, because
Mhm.
I don't know.
It's you know, it's definitely more of a fantasy story than anything superhero-y, but it's the art's great. Obviously, you have Kelsey on it, the art's going to be stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think I picked up the three issues that were out, and having read all three, I'm actually interested to see where the story goes. Um, and I know they still have their campaign. I think it's still open, but I think the campaign was like a trade uh, that completes the story. So it's actually 1 through 6, if I remember right. So like 4, 5, and 6 would be like the new content there, which is cool. I dig that. And Allegiance actually sent me like because something there was something about it where if you posted about it on social media and you tagged Allegiance or Kelsey or whatever, they would then send you a special link for their that new campaign for the trade, um, which is at like a discounted rate. I think it was like $20. Some I could be wrong about that, but I think it was like $20 versus whatever. Um,
I don't know, but I love Alterna though.
yeah,
Alterna has a lot of great titles.
yeah,
That's who I like. I've got like Trespasser, Voidwalker, Blood Realm.
nice.
They have some really cool stuff. Pete's really set
Voidwalker.
up a special thing there. Yeah, Voidwalker, man.
I'm geeked to actually see that because it everything I've seen about it looks neat, and I do dig
Christian
the art.
Rossi, man. That's all you
Yeah,
need to know.
yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
Christian's working on Ed Gein, Demon Hunter currently,
oh wow.
and that looks phenomenal. He's put a very noir, very black and white noir, style to it that
Hmm.
just looks phenomenal. So it looks like some of that Frank Miller shading, some, excuse me, Frank Miller blacks and whites.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Really cool stuff.
Um,
Yeah, I'm really happy to have this team I have. They are expensive though altogether because I went with the traditional team of penciler, inker, and colorist.
uh,
And the reason I did that was when I came into Comicsgate initially, all the talk was that we want premium books,
mhm,
premium books, premium books, premium, 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 right? So that's what I'm making. And the way to make it, one of the ways to make a premium book is you have a team of three like that. You go with the traditional penciler, inker, colorist because you've got three layers of artists, to make changes, to fix things, to bring
right.
it to life in different ways. See, they all have their own powers, their strengths and weaknesses, and their styles. And you get the right team together, and you get something really special. And that's what it took me a few years. I got the right team, and that's why you'll see the goal is set at $10,000. I need $10,000 to get these pages produced.
Yeah.
If As you can see, we're over, over 35% of the way to the goal, and we only have a few days left on the campaign. I am going to go in demand, and we don't reach that goal, I'm going to cover the rest of the costs to get this book made and to get it fulfilled. Because
Oh wow.
this is the beginning of Brain Cage continuity. I've already put my girlfriend and I, Missy, and I have already put in several $1,000s into getting this started.
Hmm.
And we're pretty broke people, we're just normal job kind of people, right? So it's been a big deal. We've went without a lot of things to get it to make it happen, and so it's not something we're it's not a hobby. It's not something we're just playing at. We're committed to this. So
Right.
this book is going to get made, and we're going to introduce these characters. Then the next book is going to get made, and the next book. And I am confident that once people get Gun Demon in their hands and they read it, you're going to see a lot of really good reviews out there. And then I'm going to pick up a lot more backers for the next book and the next books. We have put so much time into character designs, into story development, world building, the whole deal. We This is meant to be Brain Cage continuity is meant to be the next step after the early 90s image comics explosion, where we had a new style of comic book art that came
Yeah.
out, with the new, computer coloring and all this stuff and high detail. So we got this new thing, and that's what I want to do with Brain Cage. I want us to go to the next step. People are doing that with taking the collars to the next step. We do have better tech now than we did in the early 90s, both in printing and, of course, computer and all that. But
Mhm.
I want to go deeper into the actual character designs. Something that most of them didn't really do in the 90s is develop design characters that will look really great on in film and
Yeah.
movies, as well as video games or whatever. Some of the so that's really what I'm doing with as I've been setting up the Brain Cage developmental process, which is how can we develop these characters and design them so that they appeal to the adult mind, but they're still cool to young people as well. But it's designs that will work in film. We won't have to do like our adaptations will be direct adaptations
Right
and
on.
uh, and all that. So I think that's the next level because look at those image characters. They look amazing in comic books, many of them not so much in animated shows
Yeah.
as we saw, and many of them not on live action either. They wouldn't look that great.
Yeah.
Pitt's one of my favorites because he would look great in anything. Pitt
Yeah.
is just such a cool fucking character design, and Spawn's really great too. But Spawn's a bit difficult, man, with that cape having a life of its own. And we saw that early '90s Spawn movie. They did a really awful job at trying to animate that thing
Yeah.
and do
The
things with it.
that Spawn movie was too it was too much too early. Like the
Yeah, it was
technology,
rushed.
yeah, a new Spawn movie would be good. The only problem is, from my understanding, Todd's script for the new movie is a bunch of super woke stuff, and
I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, and I really don't see it that selling.
Nah.
Um, I don't think that people that read the Spawn comic book are into woke ideologies, um, because most people that read comic books are intelligent people. We see through the bullshit.
Hmm.
So to I don't know, it almost feels like he's just willing to do whatever just to get it out there,
Hmm.
and that's unfortunate. That's kind of a bummer, but
He's mainstream.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, when you look at
People
the
call him
fact,
indie, but he's very much mainstream.
yeah,
He has
he's
been pretty much.
he's the
There are
one.
different kind of definitions. I
Well,
guess the objective definition would be based on what type of business model, what kind of company model it is. But I
mhm,
tend to look at it more subjectively. In Are they huge? Are they the top? You know what I mean? Or do they get to be on TV? Or do they get to make movies? Do they get to this and that? Right? Are they in WalMarts? Are they in all? That's very mainstream to me,
yeah,
subjectively.
definitely. And I mean, it doesn't really get much more mainstream than the fact that McFarlane Toys does all of the DC toys. Like,
Yeah.
they are the master licensor
Hmm.
for DC Comics. So,
Yeah.
like, there's no talking or walking around that. That is pretty much the mainstream. Um,
Yeah.
and like that's the other crazy thing too is Todd's not profitable yet with his newest toys. Um, he's been losing money hand over fist. So it's really I don't know what the comeback is. Like I don't know how he ends up like making that back in the end. So that's kind of scary. Um, but he's now also in charge of all the DC Direct branding too. So all the stuff that used to just be straight to comic stores is all going through McFarlane Toys now. So different toy lines, statues, that sort of thing, it's all McFarlane.
Hmm.
So he is not mainstream. Or I mean, he is mainstream. There's no Todd's not an indie, you know,
Right.
especially not making DC product.
And
Uh,
even when he was, when they formed Image, those were the 7 or 8 biggest artists in the industry at that time. So
yeah,
could I mean, technically you can say they were Image was independent, comics,
yep,
but it's not like they had to build it the way like Pete Samiti had to build Alterna, for
right,
example, from the literal ground up,
yeah,
molecule by molecule. These guys had the entire comic book fan world instantly on their side. They're like, what? Lee and McFarlane and Keown and all these guys like they're teaming up. What? Oh fuck, shit! I'm on board. Instantly take my money.
yeah.
And it's a phenomenal. It's really crazy.
It's pretty wild too because when you look at it, and I mean, Pete's a great example. Don Chin's another fantastic example of guys
Yeah.
who've been at it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Tree Goblin. We got Tree Goblin in the chat.
Tree. What's up,
Um,
brother?
you look at those guys, you look at Eastman and Laird, these are all guys that did it on their own for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. They had collaborators, they had other people they worked with, but these are guys that went out there and did indie books and made indie books and enjoyed it and built audiences on indie books. I have I'm not even sure how many, but I know I have a bunch of Don Chin's like 90s era X Farce. There was a Spawn parody. There's a bunch of them. And I bought the fuck out of them because I just thought it was so great to see all this stylized modern shit getting, kind of crapped on for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But what it is, I mean, what it is today, now it's nostalgia because we were kids then. Supposedly we're adults now. But like, I don't hold that against anyone. And I try not to be an adult as much as possible just because, you know, I feel like you've got your inner child within a lot of these kinds of concepts, comic books, cartoons, toys, whatever it is. That's
Mm-hmm.
where we are. It brings us back to that. If it brings you joy on some level, it kind of has to bring you back to that. Being a little,
Yeah.
you know?
Excitement, man. That's what I
Yeah.
want. That's what we're building brain cage continuity to be something to be like people can get excited about again. Those of us that are into like science fiction and superheroes and all that, this is something for us to get excited about. We're going to do some really crazy shit in these brain cage books. The stories we have planned. Typically a lot of amateur writers they'll have some cool ideas, right? So they'll want to throw it all out at you right away.
Mhm.
We've got some really cool story ideas that are going to be gradual. We're going to release here and there, throughout the ongoing. It's an overarching story similar to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right on.
So you're going to see Gun Demon, and in the pages of Gun Demon, you're also going to meet the Mighty Mechalore, and those two will become friends. And in the Mighty Mechalore #1, Gunny's going to be in that as well.
Nice.
You know, and it's going to be an ongoing story. And then you're going to we introduce other characters, and that's the way we're doing, like a piggyback kind of thing, with and to establish the heroes in our universe. And so one of the things that I know that people, like backers, don't care for that much is creators jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, though, like certain like backers will really just kind of really fall in love with a certain character, and then they just want that. They want books of that character from there on out, But the next book that creator comes out with is a completely different genre. Like then they go to, like, let's say, a western book,
Hmm.
Then the next book's a horror book, and then the next one's like a period piece of
Yeah.
some kind, like a noir or something, detective thing. And well, what about that cool superhero you had back there, man? I thought that was the new superhero for me, And so in this case, if people really love Gunny, then the next book I come out with, even though it's a different title, Gunny's still in it.
Right.
You're still gonna have Gunny. He's not gonna be the star of that book, but and after each of the first issues of my various IPs, because I have several characters I'm releasing,
Mhm.
after the number one issues, it's I'm starting back over at the beginning. So then it'll be Gun Demon number two, and the Mighty Mechalore number two, and the Unstoppable Dreadnought number two, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So that's how we're doing it. And we've got other creators in there. Stefani Rene, for example, has the Scarab, and Ben Phelps is the creator of Celerity the Huntress and Shadow Saint.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, and we've got some other stuff in the works too that we're not announcing yet, but because it's still in early stages. But and I'm in talks with a few creators who are interested in joining as well. So
That's awesome.
it's a constantly expanding universe.
Yeah. That's a good thing, man. That's what we should all hope for is growth and, you know, the ability to build out our characters, build our brands up, and, you know, put things
Mm-hmm.
out there that that people aren't expecting, and
Mm-hmm.
take them by surprise with creativity. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I desperately want that. I want everybody to be in that magic spot of where your ideas get you a little crazy on developing them and world building them, and also it sounds off the wall to people. We were talking about it earlier about how your story doesn't take place on our Earth.
Yeah, it's
That's
escapism.
absolutely, and it's so important
I think we need
because
it bad right now.
especially right now,
Mm-hmm.
who wants to look at the world as it's presented on our TVs? I don't.
No,
I
I don't.
like
I
not
don't want to
once
tell
I'm
stories like that. Mm-mm.
exactly. And aside from that, fuck, Marvel and DC are doing enough of that trash. If that's what somebody's looking for, you know, that's probably going to be the thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, in my universe that I'm trying to create as well, it's not our Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not by appearance at all, because the Earth in my book is a flat Earth, and it's actually on the back of a giant intergalactic space turtle.
Cool.
So here's this giant.
What's that turtle's name?
I
I want
haven't named him yet.
because that's a mythological.
Yeah.
We'll have to
I,
talk about that sometime. But that's
like I know there were like there's supposed to be like pillars that he rests upon, and the whole base of the shell portion of him is just the whole flat plane.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, there is a name for him, and I don't know like that name, but that was something that like I just thought of. I thought of just doing something that was so off the wall and intentionally meant to be fun, not to just be like, oh, this guy's a flat earther, fuck this book. Um,
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't care if somebody's a flat earther. If somebody else believes the world is a ball, that's fine too. I'm not going to sit here and, crap on anybody for thinking either or. Um, my simple point is that I don't know what it is because I've never been to space. I've never been up there, and I can't say that I've looked down and seen the Earth. Um, Also, I don't trust the government. So on those two things alone, I can
Yeah.
100% just say, come up with crazy ideas and have fun with them
Yeah,
because
I don't think
that's
this
my
is a
thing.
flat Earth at all, huh? I mean,
Yeah.
the evidence that I see definitely it's like an oblong shape,
Yeah.
but I do not trust NASA and the U.S. government and the media, any of that at all. I mean, as far as I have an open mind about things. Like I think the most likely explanation of what the universe actually
Mhm.
is we're inside the body of a macroorganism.
That
That's what
makes
I think
sense.
is going on. I think that's the most likely possibility. I think we live inside the body of this massive creature, and we're basically microorganisms, wee beasties, inside its body.
We're
And if
the
that's the case, I mean, we might be in a bloodstream or something. Like outside of Earth might be this fluid,
Yeah.
and maybe there's life everywhere. It's not a
Yep.
dead, black, empty. It's hard to tell. We
Yeah.
don't really know, do we? I don't think if it comes down to, because yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing is to to exercise a healthy level of skepticism.
Sure. Hey, I'm sure that on some level we're just ants marching in the carpet, and
Yeah,
you know
that's what it feels like.
whatever. Yeah, it definitely does, especially the way the world is at the moment. It's
Think about this. Have you ever seen anything about the phenomenon of how
hey Wayne,
ant hills just die
thanks for
after
being here.
7 years?
No, really,
Yeah, there's it's really fascinating. Check it out. Basically,
hail General Piggy.
well,
Sorry.
hey, General Piggy, what's up? Basically, an ant hill will go through multiple queens and all these different changes and all that and still endure and be just fine, right? But after about 7 years, they just stop. They just die.
Yeah,
Their entire civilization just dies. And it's always fascinated me. Could be under the fingernail of a giant for all we know. Sure, we could be in its brain. We could be in its nut sack or something. If it has such a, if it has genitals, we could be wherever. We have no idea. What's up, Wayne?
Wayne's good,
So
man.
I think it's smart for people to be pretty skeptical about information we're given. But there are certain things that we can't prove, like that we can know for sure using the scientific process. So
Yeah,
I don't feel like at this point we need to be debating the shape of our planet.
right, right, and I'm with you on that.
We
Like,
got bigger problems.
definitely. Oh boy, yeah, we
One of
do.
my big problems right now is my pipe is empty. I
Oh,
need
brother.
to put some more green herbal love back into it and re-energize myself.
Yeah, man, definitely do. That's
We need to
very
have a
important medicine. I
420
too am
break
medicated.
together here. We'll have a how's that sound?
Sounds great. It's perfect.
Of course,
Perfect
you
time.
guys out there watching, you're gonna have to join us in a little
You have to
little
smoke or
blaze
dab
session.
along with us. Yeah, I'm dabbing on some citral glue number 3.
Oh yeah,
Test out at 78.1%. A little low, but it's good. It's a nice sativa.
dabs, man.
Yeah.
Dabs are a bit
They're
much
fun.
for me. I
Yeah.
don't know. I like them once in a while as sort of like a party thing, but I like to burn the herb. I do like to vape. Vaping is nice. Get a good vape set up. That's really nice.
Nice.
But this is real medicine. This is
It
it's pretty
is.
phenomenal. It's been used for medicine for thousands of years. Almost every creature on the planet has receptors built into their bodies to process and
Every
and
every living creature on planet Earth has endocannabinoids within its DNA.
Yeah,
So that's
I believe
every,
most, at least most, if not all. Yeah,
you know,
it's that tells you something. I think,
hey, when this beautiful plant that we can smoke and feel really good off of, and when we find out that this plant is a part of our DNA, you know, what are the world leaders' first thoughts? We need to ban it from them. We need to not let the plebs have it.
You want to know what my hypothesis is? I think hypothesis that is. I think it. I think THC could be a nutrient.
Yeah,
In the same way proteins and other types, and air is a nutrient. I believe it could be a nutrient. I mean, our bodies were designed to process it. So,
yeah.
I mean, our bodies aren't
Well, and
designed to process meth, alcohol,
true.
any real drugs,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. That's actually that's a great point too, because um, you know, alcohol's so normalized. Weed is so still kind of chastised, and I mean, it's less and less today, but it's natural medicine. You know, there's so many great things that cannabis can do for people, and
Well, I'll tell you this, man. It's also a creativity enhancer
for sure.
by a lot.
Yep.
By a lot. I can tell you this. I experienced it personally myself. My art and development and all that before cannabis, very generic, very copycat. As a teenager, when I started blazing it at around age 14,
Hmm.
instantly my art and development and all that started becoming a lot more creative, because I
Yeah.
think it was because I would sit around and I would ponder for long periods and I would really tear apart something, and really analyze it fully. And it just kind of made me go to the next level or whatever. I could sit there for hours sketching something, just,
Yeah.
and the time just flew by. I didn't even realize I've been sitting there for 4 hours. You see a lot of like artists who don't smoke. You see them on their draw streams. A few hours into it, they're like, "Oh my god, I've been at it for like 3 hours or above." Me, when I'm high, I'm just like, what time is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
because I'm enjoying it. I'm in the zone.
Definitely. And actually, I wanna make sure I point out this comment from Wayne. I might have the access hookup to burn it. My buddy Wayne here is the owner operator of Access Cannabis. It's a dispensary in Valley, Washington. So if any of our viewers happen to be out there in that area, go by, say hi to Wayne, get you some good weed.
Good people hanging out over here, man.
Yep.
That's where you find the good people. As you look for the green.
Yep.
Wherever the green is, that's where the good people are.
This is true.
Not that there aren't good people that are amongst the alcohol crowds or other types of crowds, right? But stoners, man, stoners are just we're chill. We're doing our things. You know what I mean? We're usually not fucking with anybody. We're usually doing what we like to do, and usually in a decent mood. I My life is a wreck, man. It has been for years, and so is about everybody else's lives out there in some way or another. We're wrecks, but I blaze some cannabis, and I'm all chill. People on in social media often think I'm angry on Facebook and stuff. I'll make a comment, and people will flip out. Oh, you're such an angry guy. I'm literally sitting here like this, like hitting it and coughing and laughing as I'm typing the comments, and they're like, "He's such an angry. He's so serious," and I'm like, no, I'm a chill guy, but at the same time, I can real talk.
Yeah.
I'm from a generation, so are you, where we could real talk. You could be sitting there, you could tell a joke and be laughing, and then the next moment be talking about something horrible that went on in the world, and talking about, yeah, we should, whatever, and then you're back to joking a minute later. I mean, men have to watch that shit. Men have to watch crisis. We have to watch for threats to our communities and our family units. That's what men are. That's part of our purpose,
Yeah.
for existing. I believe that, and really, it's not even a belief. It's pretty much
It's life.
biological fact.
Yeah.
It's what our role is for our species. We got to watch out. And like I was when we were talking earlier, and I pointed out that uh, we have failed. We have failed the younger generations right now that are out there in the U.S. and in these different countries that have been completely psyopsed, and they've been hit with biological and chemical warfare as well that has made them, like the soy, the whole soy explosion. That soy, literally, a lot of people laugh when they hear soy boy, or soy being used, but
Yeah.
that was real biological warfare there, because soy makes the body produce more estrogen, makes the
Yeah.
brain produce more estrogen.
Yep.
And that's a big reason why we have a lot of these feminine young males. Can't call them men, young feminine young
Yeah.
males. Not all of them are even gay. A lot of them are even, I guess,
Yeah.
straight.
Just soyed
Uh,
up.
they're
And
just, yeah,
that's,
raised by a single mommy and who fed them all that soy.
yeah.
We
That,
failed, us men, okay, of us older generations. We all failed to protect the kids from, I'm going to say it, the synagogue of Satan, the fucking people who believe that they are Lucifer's children, who, we refer to as the globalists. Some people call them the Illuminati.
yeah.
It's the biggest scumbags on the planet. We failed to protect the young people from them.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of us did try in our own ways. I tried letting people know. I've been watching the globalists for over 20 some years now, 24 ish years, somewhere around there. I've been watching those fuckers and trying to warn people,
Hmm.
but people don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
They act like I'm an SJW because I give a fuck. I don't want my people to fucking suffer needlessly.
I
You
feel like
know,
a lot of that is people are comfortably numb in the stuff that they believe. There are a lot of people that still believe there's a difference in political parties.
yeah.
There are a lot of people that believe Kane and the Undertaker are actually brothers. Like that's the thing. It's
They
you
believe Gina Carano was actually canceled, and you know.
it's it's a lot of stuff that is has needless thought thrown at it, where there's like actual important stuff that, we could be like conversing about, that opens people's eyes up to understanding a worldview of what's happening in the world. And it is scary. Yeah, this is a great point from Wayne in the chat. Invisible chains are harder to break than the real ones.
Yes, sir.
That's a solid point.
Yes, sir. I mean, if you don't know you're a slave, it's really, it's probably impossible for you to even free yourself from the slavery if you don't even see, if you don't even see it. And what we all see, we've had programmed into our brains to think of as freedom. And like, for example, employment, the way it's done for most people today, it's slavery.
Yeah.
We're not making living wages from probably 95% of the jobs out there. Now careers are a different story. Careers, you can really feel fulfilled. You can do good things in careers, and you can even make a good living wage from a career. But a job, it's just not the way. And I believe that in the coming era, that
I
this
mean, that's
era
changing.
that we're in,
We're,
yeah, I don't think day jobs are the thing at all. Working for other people, I don't think that's smart at all.
yeah,
I think we all need to be in control of our own economy,
yeah.
our own, and it needs to be digital and online. So if you need to move to a different country, you can do that, and you can still
Well,
continue to conduct business. I think that's going to be crucial.
that's actually,
I think it is right
I
now, in
think,
fact.
I think that's just another link in the chain, to be honest with you, because like they've shown, that red country over there, in the last few days, they can turn off their electronic funding like PayPal and Google and
Hmm.
whatnots. So, if they can do that against an entire country, you know, what difference would they have against doing that towards me and you, especially if
Hmm.
that's how we survive, and especially if, you know, we're talking about ideas that, you know, whether it's part of a comic book, whether it's real life, even just discussing those types of things, it's like it feels like with the way government and funding of government is going with all the ESG bullshit, um, you know, they're attempting to create a social credit score just like China does. And having been to China twice in my life, I don't want life here in America to be like China. But over the last 20 years, it's unfortunately gotten a lot more like China.
It's
We
been
used,
like that for me
yeah,
for about 20 years because of the family court system. It's been like that for millions of fathers in this country.
definitely.
Once you get in that system, you're branded a deadbeat dad,
Ugh.
unless you make plenty of money, and and you can buy your way out.
Mhm.
But most guys can't make, I mean, like a custody battle, you're looking at least around
Oh,
25 grand.
at least, yeah, at
That's
the
at
very
least, and,
least.
and even then, paying that much money, there's still a great chance that you won't get any kind of real custody. Maybe you'll get like every Wednesday and every other weekend or something like that. But you're not really going to be raising your kids that much. I've already been dealing with Chinese, social credit system. I wasn't allowed to have a driver's. I still don't have a driver's license. I haven't
Wow,
had a driver's license for over 10 years,
wow.
and all the work I always did was always driver. I was always a delivery guy. In fact, when they finally took my license, I had been approved to get my CDL. I was to get free training.
Oh, wow.
I got approved through this program that was going to pay my way through the CDL training and all that. And I was going to do that, and I could have paid all my back child support and everything would have been cool. But they got rid of my they got rid of my driver's license, so I
Wow.
didn't. Yeah, I wasn't able to get my CDL, and they shut guys down to get you into the prison system, the
Mhm.
jail system, and all that. That's what they do.
Yeah,
They
because they make more money off of your number, your social security number, your name being
Yeah,
associated with that and going through the
whatever system they
process.
can use, they're going to make profit off of you.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's it.
Um, it's fucked, man. It's
It's
really fucked.
already been China for, in other words, for millions of us, and the rest of just, for the most part, just ignoring us. They don't care. It's not happening to them. And even when it happens to family members of theirs, they'll just ridicule them and be like, "I'm the better family member. You're just a scumbag. That's why you're in that predicament."
Yeah.
And it's just been this big narcissism epidemic in this country as well, especially female narcissism. That's actually the
Yeah.
biggest mental health epidemic in the U.S.
It's
that
nuts.
nobody in the media wants to talk about.
Oh, of
But
course they
it's
don't. They're the ones feeding it because
yes,
let me tell you, as a 44-year-old single male who has been on and off dating a 24-year-old female, uh, they're fucking nuts. And every single young woman that I meet that isn't like, and I'm not necessarily out there trying to get married at the moment, but I'm also really just looking to have fun and not like feel like I'm losing wasting time in my life versus versus having a good time in life.
mhm.
um, I don't have children of my own, and the truth of the matter is having met so many of these girls that are narcissists today, I can't imagine meeting any one of these women and having kids with them in this world, especially with that kind of
It's a
mindset.
nightmare,
And
dude. They're
it
predators.
is. Yeah.
They prey on their children too,
Hmm.
especially their children.
Yep.
Their children are
Um,
captive victims, basically, to them.
it's it's really something else, man. Like the ways, like, God, I can't tell you how many times I've heard a single mother or seen it on Facebook, a single mother post about how they're the only father that their kids need on Father's Day. And I'm just
Right.
like, oh, man, you have no idea how wrong you are and how important it is to get a good, strong male in that kid's life.
Yeah,
And
kids need both mother and
yeah,
father. They need that
yeah,
stability on both sides, well rounded for them to understand male and females and all that, all that kind of stuff. They need that.
they do. They definitely do. They cannot function I mean, they can make it through, but it's a lot better for their minds, for their heads to understand what relationships are like and how to treat people, because they are little sponges too, so they're
Mm.
constantly learning by what the grown-ups are doing,
It's
whatever.
horrible, dude.
Yeah.
And
So,
I understand why people don't want to sit around and talk about this kind of stuff. It's depressing,
yeah.
but because of
Yeah,
people being that way, that's a big part of why it is happening now. Because of
definitely.
people ignoring it. The willful ignorance, the whole "oh well, somebody else will handle it" kind of mentality. Us men, like I said, we failed.
Yeah.
We failed in our ultimate role, and now we're all suffering because of it. You know, yeah,
Tyler Durden once
it's
mentioned
true.
that we are a generation of men raised by women. Yep.
Yeah,
Facts.
yep,
McDonald's and Optimus Prime and,
mm,
you know, Mom
yep.
and Tree Goblin. Never forget what they've taken from you. Never forget.
Yeah, and I think it's of the utmost importance to resist everything that the globalists want to do, because it's all guaranteed to be harmful for all of our families and
Hmm.
all of us. It's none of it's good for us. So at this point, if people don't know what the deal is,
Yeah.
they don't see what's going on. There's probably no help for them. And the really bad part of it is, if you don't see a punch that's swinging at you, you can't duck it, you can't sidestep it, you can't block it. There's nothing worse than a an attack that comes unseen.
Right.
And what they're doing right now is they're weaponizing ignorance and selfishness, and also they're weaponizing people's darkest desires.
Mhm.
you know and that's another thing too. I think it's important for people to understand. Some people really need to learn this instead of the hard way. They need a culture that teaches these kinds of things, like the world used to have, right?
Yeah.
Is There are just plenty of fantasies that are just meant to remain fantasies. You don't need to live out all of your fantasies in the real world. Nobody should probably ever do that. Everybody's got, I'm sure, got weird ass fantasies of some kind and things that they just don't need to. They don't need to live it. Like, I don't need to have five women at one time.
Right.
It's something I've masturbated to the idea of since I was a youngin', since I started, getting a little tickling feeling down on my balls, right? I started, oh, well, okay, women are great. How about more women? You
Right.
know, but it doesn't mean I've got to have a room full of women all like sucking and licking me in my lifetime. It's not a need for me to feel accomplished at life or happy in life. And,
I hear you.
and I think a lot of people don't, especially women these days, because one of the messages being pounded into women's heads in this awful culture, anti-culture is more like it, is that just do whatever you want to do because you're a woman. You're allowed to do whatever, your wildest desires, just live them, and if anybody tries to stop you, they're sexists, and it's just that is really creating a lot of female predators out there. And
Right.
this is why, I'm a bit like, I pissed off Risey, for example, because I called him a simp for an e-girl. He was simping for this fucking
Uh,
ASMR
and
chick. He
yeah,
was simping
Amaranth
for her.
or whatever.
Yeah, and we
I
was
know who
hanging
you're
out in this
talking about.
backstage, and he kept playing that video, and the rest of us were kind of like, yeah, well, she's hot, but that's kind of retarded. It's kind of a little bit disturbing even. And then he started getting butthurt, and I'm like, you're simping for an e-girl. He got pissed off. He booted me. He booted me out.
Wow,
Yeah,
man,
over the e-girl. But that's
that's
funny as hell. That was a fun night, but triggered his ass.
that's hilarious. I
But
mean,
we
he's a
gotta
trip.
like call out the simping behavior, though, man. Like hot chicks are not beyond ridicule.
Yeah,
Okay, in a real man's mind, right, or anybody's mind, anybody on the planet, nobody should be beyond ridicule.
right.
You
I
know, if
agree.
somebody
I agree.
does something retarded,
Yeah,
absolutely, or stupid or whatever, call them out. Say, hey man, that was retarded. What you did there, that was that was
yeah,
absolutely
and
retarded. I get called on it, when I do retarded shit, and I just go, oh yeah, it was a dumb idea, wasn't it? Damn, I don't know what I was thinking. You just gotta, we're all gonna do dumb shit.
yeah.
You know.
I really feel like it's one of those things that you know, as creative people, like we're all going to do different things. But sometimes I don't necessarily think that alcohol and live streaming is really a great idea. And I would say the same of Risey that I would with Finn too. Like they're both, they're both solid dudes, really,
Yeah.
at the end of the day. But like that drinking is a hell of a lot of drinking, and that hell of a lot of drinking is kind of wild.
Yeah.
Um, so hey, what I was thinking is that
Those guys are funny as hell, dude. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you
no, it's
talked
okay.
about that. I had both of them on one show on Brain Cage multimedia channel,
Uh,
and that one show got the channel banned for 7 days.
yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
But it was, some people said it was the best show we ever had, because it was basically me screaming at Risey and Risey screaming at me, and then Risey would go to piss and get another drink or something, and then it would be me and Finn screaming at each other for like a few minutes, and then he'd go and get a drink and
That's hilarious.
roach balls.
Oh, dude, is Rich in the chat?
Yeah,
Oh man, hang on,
roach
I'm on another
balls.
screen. What up, Rich? Hola, brother. Happy to see you. Not girls got worms. She don't stop bragging. Hey, this is good stuff. Happy to see
Window
you
liquor.
here. Amaranth, she do look like a window licker. Like she's slurping on the window too. Um,
Wow, you were worse than Risey Tree.
wowza, man.
Damn.
Like it's crazy. I remember in my 20s, I would fucking pound Jack Daniels. I have relatives that own a bar and restaurant, and to the point that when my brother and I were on our way to the restaurant, they would hide the Jack, and the bartenders would tell us that they were all out of Jack because we come in and drink it all for free, and they don't have anything for any other customers, so all we could get was Jim Beam. Now, any normal human being that might be fine. Me personally, the very scent of Jim Beam makes it like involuntarily makes me vomit.
I also have a taste aversion to Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, gin, most types of tequila. Yeah, man, and vodka.
Yeah.
A lot of the vodkas. I love some vodka, like Grey Goose.
Hmm.
For example, love Grey Goose. But
Yeah.
most vodkas, because I've puked up on them so many. Dude, I partied through my whole teen years.
Yeah.
From about age 11, I had three older brothers, the
Oh
youngest
wow.
of which was 10 years older than me, and they were all good looking, big, like buff dudes that played football and got the girls. And they had hot rods and they had four-wheel drives, and they were happening dudes, so they were out partying, getting laid. And here I was, the young brother around all of that, and pretty much was right into that shit. About at age 11, I'm fucking partying, just
Yeah.
hitting like college parties and shit like that. I was in bands, singing and playing guitar, or singing and playing bass, or
Mhm.
just singing in some of the bands. But I was always in different bands throughout those years and hitting the
Nice.
parties, and I was
Well,
nuts, dude.
let me stop you right there. We've been going for about an hour. Let's take a little 5 minute break, so you and I can both refill our cups, take a leak if we need to, all that. I'm going to play a video, which ironically was way back when I was in a band. It was
Ah,
also my first year of college and made this very cheesy music video. So, what I'll do is share that and let that play, and you and I can do what we need to do, and we'll come back when it's done. Feel free to watch it if you like. It's cheesy as fuck. Please don't hold this music video against me. Uh, yeah. Okay. So if you guys are ready for something,
I
you're
also
gonna get.
skated tree.
What's that?
I was a metal. He said he was a punk skateboarder with no rules.
Oh
No
yeah.
rules. I was also I was a
Oh yeah.
metal skateboarder though mostly. I did like some punk though, but yeah, skating was intense.
All right. So I'm gonna go full screen on that. I'm gonna back both you and I out, and I'll add us back to once. I'm starting to fashion an idea in my head where I would impress you with every single word that I said. You come out insightful, brave, smooth, charming, and you wanna call me. I would be there every time you need me. I'd be there every time. Now I look so longingly, waiting for you to want me, for you to need me, for you to know it's me. Starting to fashion an idea in my head. Well, I would impress you with every single word I said. You come out insightful, brave, smooth, charming,
But for now, I'm looking so longingly waiting for you to want me, for you to need me, for you to notice me.
How's that for some cheese?
Some pretty good guitar work in there. Some of that
Uh,
singing was pretty good too.
Thanks, bud. We
Yeah, I
recorded
mean, I
it.
could
It's a
tell it was a I mean, obviously, I could tell you were younger,
yeah,
and
obviously, yeah,
I'm not going to judge you
yeah.
because because I have younger, I have music that I did when I was like 20 or 16, 25.
For
That's
sure. Yeah,
you
we
know,
were. That was like my first year of school in animation, and I had a video class, and one of our things was we had to make some kind of music video. Did I destroy it? Did I kill everybody by showing that? Anyone left? Just Tree Goblin? Well, thanks for being here, Tree Goblin. I appreciate you, man. Get you high anytime. Great plan, man. That's dope.
thank you.
Oh man, you're gonna make me want to go
Messing
downstairs and
around.
grab my 12 string.
It's too bad internet latency isn't what it is. It would be fun to be able to sit around
Right.
and just jam with people from around the world over the internet, wouldn't it?
That would be so rad to be able to like actually pull that off well enough that, oh man. My you know, next time we have an online chat, I'll make sure actually I can go and grab it if need be, but my guitar has Jim Lee art on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I met Jim years ago. I got to go to Wildstorm once, shortly before he did the art for me. Yeah, I think because it was one of my last cons I did that Jim was at. That he drew it. He penciled and inked a drawing of a redhead on a beach bending over a rock, and like a couple months later, I ran into Joe Chido, who used to be Jim's colorist at Wildstorm. He had since left, and I was like, "Hey, would you mind coloring Jim one last time?" And the irony is, both of them did it for
Wow.
free. Yeah, and
Wow.
yeah, it was really really cool. Like Jim was just like, "Yeah, dude, no, of course, I'll draw on your guitar for you. Why wouldn't I draw on your guitar for you?" And I was like, "Is that sarcasm or are you serious?" And he's like, "No, I'm totally serious. I'll do it." And I was like, "Okay, well, I was just thinking if you wanted to use like a gold, Sharpie marker pen." He's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna pencil this and I'm gonna ink this myself." And I was just like, "What? Okay." But
Phenomenal, man.
yeah, it's crazy. And you know what? Here, why don't you talk to Tree Goblin, talk to the chat. I'll run down to the basement and grab it.
I'll jam a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Rock out.
I'll do one of my old acoustic tunes, or I'll do an old my warm up cover song.
Go
It's
for it.
Nutshell by Alice in Chains. See if
Oh,
this thing keeps in
sweet.
tune. Let's see. oh no. Nowhere to run to, no place to go home. Sense of self is raised, and my privacy is great. And yet I find, repeating in my head, if I can't be my own, I do better
Dude, it's fucking fantastic.
Thank you.
So here,
It's a good warm-up song. I like the range that it is. Oh wow, man. That's such a trip. Lucky.
right?
Wow. Jeez. What a story.
I know, man. It's so wild. I've had uh I've had a storied life. Like, I can't complain. You know, if my life ended tomorrow, I've done some really fucking dope shit that I'm proud
Me
of.
too.
Yeah.
I did some cool shit, man.
Hell yeah,
I
man.
went through a lot of suffering and all that, but I did
Yeah.
a lot of cool stuff too. A lot of people
Fuck
don't get
yeah.
to do. You don't know whether you have rights or not unless you like rights or not unless you try to exercise them, and then you find out that a lot of rights just are not aren't out there. That's where the suffering comes in. But
Yep.
you know, you get to do what you want to do sometimes. You know, if you keep
Definitely.
trying.
Yeah. That's the beauty of making art and doing creative shit too. You know, you can make mistakes, you can do things differently stylistically. You know, there's a whole world of opportunity that's open, and it's really exciting.
I agree. It's some of the only exciting things going on out there because we don't see Hollywood producing anything to get excited about. We don't
Yeah.
see streaming services producing anything to get excited about. We don't see comic books that much in the main, at least not in the mainstream. Like there are a few a year that look like they're legitimately good books. I won't find out because I'm not going to give them money. They're my enemies,
Yeah.
so to hell with them. But
Yeah.
a few books a year. I got to give it to Marvel and DC. They managed to shit out at least a few decent books. You know, like the old saying goes, "Is even a broken clock is right twice a day." So so yeah, they get to manage. They do manage to throw a few out there a year, but that's not sufficient.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, video games and all the entertainment industries, music, it's really a lot of pathetic stuff out there. There is a lot of great music out there, but now in this era, but you have to really dig for it.
Yeah.
You know, you really
It's
do.
it's weird. You know, music is not the same. You know, and it's the same for movies. You know, things are really basic. I agree with
Look
this
what Wayne
statement.
said.
I approve this statement, Wayne. Give
Well,
those
actually,
Hollywood writers their cocaine back.
Wayne, I would actually, what I would say would be, let's get Hollywood writers back.
Yeah.
Because I don't call those people writers who are out there writing these really awful movies. They're just, what are they? I mean, it could be an AI for all we know, shitting out these scripts,
Right.
following the same exact formula because it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
Every fucking movie, so we
Yeah.
don't
A
really have
computer
writers
told
anymore.
them
You know what
that.
writers do? Writers live lives like what you
Yeah.
and I talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Writers have suffered, writers have loved, writers have traveled. They've experienced different cultures, been around different types of people. People watched all over the place, and
Hmm.
all these types of things, and had fun and partied and
Yeah.
whatever, and puked up on alcohol, and got in fights and got laid, and that's what writers do. They live. You gotta get experience to be a writer, and typically when I see somebody like 20, 22, 25, 30, a lot of times I don't expect them to be at a high level of writing yet, because you just got to get more experience. Some people get different experiences at younger ages,
True.
that also so it's everybody's different. Having any kind of assumptions about people, yeah, fucking creatively bankrupt is really Hollywood right there in a nutshell. Dark Gift said go to his channel for a jam next time. Yeah, totally. I actually meant to. I borrowed that acoustic off a buddy of mine to go over on
Oh.
Anthony's channel on his next open mic night, but I missed it.
Oh
Um,
no.
I was in the middle of a meeting and stuff. Yeah, I'm sure Tree. I know Tree's noticed. I haven't been streaming much lately. For one thing, I've been really busy with production. Behind the scenes, just production
Yeah.
work. And also meetings and stuff. And now we're trying to figure out what we're doing with World War Hell. That's
Mm,
really stressful.
for sure.
And Tank has not been seen or heard of by anybody for about 5 or 6 days now,
Oh shit.
and I'm really starting to worry about Tank. Um,
Did
so and
he
Tank
didn't like
is
say
my right
like,
hand man. Like Tank is
yeah.
as much a part of Brain Cage as I am. So that's worrying me a bit. It's a bit stressful right now, and also Tank and I have been trying to figure out what to do streaming wise on a regular basis. What kind of shows we want to have, and all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. Trying different things out, see what people like. So far, what people liked the most was our troll. Open panel troll show, which
Right.
uh, that's not really what we want to do,
Yeah. I hear you.
and it's fun once in a while, get drunk, cuss at each other, stuff like that or something, but like it's not, I can't, it's not a sustainable thing, I don't really think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
Tree, I haven't seen Tank around, man, so I hope he's all right. Last I heard, his daughter was in the hospital.
Oh man.
So he did tell me that in the short term she was fine, and everything, but maybe that's changed. I hope not. I hope everything's okay. I'm worried about him. So,
Yeah. Fuck.
um, but yeah, we got a lot going on right now in Brain Cage, and just trying to recover. Tank is MIA, and one of our main creators, is pulling his IP out, and so we're negotiating how that's going to work. And so that's caused some problems I didn't really need to have during my campaign.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's
you have that. As far as Tank, I'm sure it's something he can't help. Whatever's going on, I'm sure he needs to be away. He's not the type. He's not negligent. He's a great team member and
yeah,
reliable
dude. He
guy.
he
So
seems like a legit solid dude. So
he is. He really
Tank,
is. So
I hope you're okay out there wherever you are, man.
yeah, man. So I know he'll come back when it's the time, if he can. I don't. I have no idea what's going on with him. So,
Wow.
um, so
Wow.
anyways, so yeah, I haven't known what to do streaming wise lately either. And it's like, here's another thing too: is I look out there at what's going on in the world, and the only content really that I see that's out there is the Agenda 2030 stuff, man. Like
Mhm.
they're every step of the way, every molecule, I'm seeing it all unfold, and it's actually overriding everything else. Like
Yeah.
it's overriding entertainment, it's overriding literally everything. So at this point, anybody pretending it's not something like that is not happening, there's no conspiracy or whatever. They're nuts. You can't be sane at this point in time and be paying attention and really truly believe there is not a global conspiracy going on right now for a
Yeah.
global government.
Yeah.
It's the evidence. It's ridiculous.
I mean,
So
it seems pretty clear that that's what's going on. Is this is all pushing
yeah,
towards that? So yeah,
and everything looks shallow when anything else underneath that kind of looks shallow to me when I'm looking out there at the content, of things to talk about on streams and things. Um, anything that's not comic book related, obviously we can talk about our books,
for
for
sure.
days on end and
Oh yeah,
stuff, and show new art for those and all. That's a regular staple. But every streamer, vlogger, or whatever needs to, find their niche,
hmm
their audience, drawing an audience and figure out their
definitely.
niche. And it looks like mine would be the Agenda 2030 type shit. And I really don't want to. I don't want that to be the thing. I want the thing to be the comic books, and all of that, and the movies that we have in the works,
hmm
and all those kinds of things. I don't want to be the next Alex Jones or some fucking
Right.
shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not my thing. My
Yeah.
thing's art. My thing's
Yeah.
creativity. But
I mean,
my thing is
Gundam
also looking
looks amazing.
threats, watching for those punches they're swinging. My teeth are all messed up. I have bad teeth because I didn't see a guy that fucking drop kicked me from behind. Like I
Oh,
turned, I saw movement out of my periphery. I turned, bam, right into my fucking jaw. My jaw is messed up, and so are my teeth. And it's been something I've suffered from ever since. That was like mid 20s
oh wow.
when that happened to me. I think it was 24, 25,
Okay.
23, somewhere around there. And it's been something I suffered from ever since. So I watch out for, I keep my eyes peeled for those attacks,
Yeah.
and the attacks these days are much bigger than just some drunk ass fucking football cut, like drop kicking you. Now it's like, they're doing all kinds of bizarre shit to us out there. So
Yeah.
got to pay attention.
It's fucking crazy,
Gay
man.
frogs. Yeah, Wayne, that turned out to be the real deal.
Yeah.
And they use controlled opposition like Joe's to deliver those types of stories,
Yeah.
so that people just laugh them off and it becomes the new meme. And it
But I
buries it.
mean, that is what they're doing. I just saw something the other day that some scientists were able to like reanimate the brains of like 32 dead pigs. And it's just like this isn't a cop joke either. And it's like they're literally bringing pigs' heads back to life. And it's just like this is a fucked up time, man.
It
Those are
is.
those are the cats that need to be on that nightmare airplane that just disappears in the air. Um, I
Hey man, what did our comic books that we grew up with? What did they tell us we had to do to mad scientists?
oof, wipe them
We
out.
had to be heroes. Mad
Yeah,
scientists like Lex Luthor, for example, and they made people have to be heroes, didn't they?
yeah, that's true.
You know,
They
that's
made
what
people
when you
have to
see
stand
these
up.
mad scientists, you know that they have to be stopped. Whatever your methods are, whatever you do, stop them.
Yeah,
That's what needs to be done. I'm all for the advancement of science, but there's a certain point where it's not advancing science; it's
yeah,
advancing mad science.
yeah. Agreed.
Just because
It's
you can do something doesn't mean you should.
yeah.
Kind of,
I agree
it's
with that
really
too, man. Like it's scary seeing how many people have done certain medical things that I don't want either one of us to specifically mention, so we don't get struck by you know by
hmm
Susan or anyone here at YouTube for it. But like there are certain things that a lot of people have done and have been in the media, and now all of a sudden one of those corporations just happens to remove themselves from the New York Stock Exchange, and it's like, oh, huh, imagine that. Wonder why you guys did that. Something happening? You getting sued? Why?
They're always moving the pieces, man.
Yeah,
Always moving the pieces, and everything they do affects all of us,
it's true.
in different ways. In a lot of bad ways,
Yeah,
obviously, but sometimes in good ways. Sometimes we get a little bit of benefit. It makes it look like maybe there is this illusion of, like maintains the illusion of government a little bit, for some people.
Hmm.
But I think at this point we should all realize that we're cattle. We're being treated like cattle, and all government is there for is just to prod us along and hurt us where they want us, and just hurt and prod us right into the slaughter. It's what it is. People
It all
think I'm
comes.
crazy for thinking that. It's like I think you're crazy if you don't think that at this point. Like any adult, let's say you're at least 40 years old.
Yeah.
If you're 40 years old and you still believe the government is out to help you,
Yeah.
is here to protect you, and is here for your security,
Yeah.
um, that that's pretty.
It's
I don't
out
want to be
there.
harsh. I got a lot of friends who are right wing. I've got, they're into politics and into this stuff. They still believe they don't want to let go of it, and these are awesome people.
Hmm.
But to me, it looks delusional.
Yeah.
And these are the people who are calling me delusional. Like
Yeah.
it's who's wearing the tinfoil hat when
Right.
the funny thing is I'm just repeating the things that these globalist people are saying in public. So like anybody could see the same footage if they just look in and look for it. They can see the same things.
Hmm.
But I'm by repeating that what that person said, I'm crazy, and I'm delusional. It's I've been dealing with this for a lot of years, and it's really frustrating. I just Comicsgate's a place where I expect to see more people with their eyes open. Anti woke people. A good chunk of I do know that there is a good chunk of people in Comicsgate that understand why it's important, truly important, to stand up against Marxism.
Hmm.
To really try to on every level to try to shut down these Marxist attacks on our society.
Yeah.
But I don't think the majority of people in Comicsgate really get it. They don't take it. They don't take it like legit. Like it's all about
I think.
SJW owning and memeing
Well,
for the
I, I
most part.
I think there's different tiers. There's different people that are you know they go about it in different ways, and they're trying to be a bit more subtle about it, because I think one side is also that a lot of people they don't want to discourage sales. Even if you don't agree with someone politically, you'd still like them to buy your book. So I think that's one thing to keep in mind. um, and it's like there's there's a world of opportunity with what we create. So we can create these worlds to be whatever we want them to be. um, if you don't want to have like a cash dollar system in the people heavy areas of your universe, of your world, you know do it however you would want to do it. If it's digitally, make it digital. you know do it however it is, whatever makes the story for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
um, and I think that even comes back to doing alternate earths. you know Not having uh, everything based on the world we live in,
yeah.
but something that vaguely resembles it.
Hmm.
And I think
Yeah,
that.
it's that's what we do in brain cage continuity. We have no mask holes. We have no vax holes. We have none of the SJW bullshit.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff going on. It's the people in our brain cage continuity Earth are worried about supervillains and alien invasions and monsters trashing cities. They're worried about the fun stuff that people living in a superhero universe, science fiction superhero universe should be worried about. Fuck all that dumb shit, man. We need an escape from it.
Yeah.
And anytime a writer needs to, or feels the need, I should say, feels the need or the desire to cover what's going on today,
Hmm.
just do it a little bit clever. Don't do it on the nose. Be subtle. Change things around instead. Like, we have different things. Like, for example, instead of globalists, we have aliens. In our universe,
Yeah.
and we have these different. There are representative characters. You can't necessarily always tell what they are by looking at them,
Hmm.
what they represent, but they will get the point across.
Yeah.
And that's really the key. Is
That is the key. Yeah. Like,
Mhm.
you can represent, like I actually do have. They're based on reality. They're based on people I know, but they aren't the people I know. To save myself any kind of legal trouble in the future, but I have these characters that will be a part of my fusion story at some point. Um, but they are very much whiny, loud, obnoxious, stupid haircuts and hair colors, and um, very very SJW, very feminazi, very like the type of stuff that's basically made for a comic book punching bag. And that's precisely what they'll be. And they're all female too. So um it's going to be fun to produce that, cuz I think it's going to, like, a lot of people will take that and look at it as something that's um you're really going to promote violence against women, and it's like, well, it's not really violence against women. It's good versus evil. The evil just happens to be a group of women, um, but one of the good guys is a female too. So it's really everybody agreeing that we just have to fight the evil no matter what form it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And however we can do it, it won't always be combat. Like I'm in the worst health of my life, that I've been in my entire life, and I wasn't a soldier to begin with, So, but the way I can fight is I can be counterculture. I can produce stories of characters that have good qualities, good traits to them, that are heroic,
Yeah.
and they all have flaws, like any good character. They
Of course.
fuck up, especially Gunny. Gunny's a big fuck up,
Yeah.
because he just doesn't get Earth at all. This first miniseries, Devil's Overture, 4-issue series, he's a year old when he comes to Earth. So
Oh
when you
wow.
see him in issue 1, you're going to see him on page 1 of the book. You see him actually created on planet Hell, and then you see him being trained, and then then he goes through a portal and he's on Earth on his mission. And when he comes here, he doesn't understand how we communicate. He doesn't understand why we eat some of the things we eat, because he's a complete carnivore.
Hmm.
But he discovers sushi. Sushi. And that's his thing, because he's a carnivorous being. Like what could be better if you're this carnivore alien?
Yeah.
So he loves sushi.
Excellent.
But yeah, he finds things that he loves, including video games. He's a gamer. He loves to just sit around and play games, and he cuts his teeth on playing Blastbot on the NES.
Hmm.
And Blastbot is my game, actually, that I'm in the process of making right now with programmer Dale Coop,
That's
who's
awesome.
Dale's a legend, and he's like a superstar in the NES homebrew community,
Oh
Nintendo
wow.
Entertainment System, 8-bit, homebrew community. Dale's one of the more prolific programmers working on people's their games.
Nice.
Basically, having Dale on board means you can definitely make the game you want to make, and you've got somebody who knows their way around that entire industry. So I got lucky, and he loves my graphics, which I actually sent you some there on
Yeah. Yeah.
Facebook.
You
If you
did.
don't mind showing some of that on here, I'm
Oh
going to
yeah.
start
Yeah.
promoting that here in the very near future. But
Yeah.
that game is called Blastbot, and I'm really kicking ass on it here lately. The demo is going to be ready here in the very near future. But Gunny is he meets these homeless people who are sitting around playing an NES on an old broken TV. It's a TV with big crack on the screen, old school TV.
Hmm.
And Gunny grabs the controller and sits down and starts playing, and he's just instantly in love with
Oh
gaming.
wow.
It's the first time he ever experiences joy in his 1 year of life so far at this point. Because he was trying to fight for his survival for a year on planet Hell. Being fighting these demons. They call it training, but really all it was fight for survival every moment. He to get sleep he had to hide in places where he couldn't be seen, and to eat he had to snatch meat and run with it and eat it while he's being chased by a bunch of other demons and creatures. And it was it is rough for the little guy. So he gets to Earth and he plays a video game and he feels joy, and and it's an amazing experience. It's a transformative experience for him. So he wants to have fun. He says, "Fuck my mission. I'm just going to sit here and hang out with these guys, play video games."
I dig it. Give me
But
one.
yeah, that's my game. Blastbot is what Gunny plays in the book.
That's awesome. Yeah, give me 1 second here. I've almost just got the pic saved. Let me just get them open. Alright, here we go. And we share, and we share.
Yeah, this is the first NES game that we're producing, and we're going to make a Gun Demon game in the near future. And we have a series planned also called Brain Cage Beatdown, which is going to put all the different Brain Cage heroes and villains together into different genres of games. Like one of them will be a fighting game, one of them will be a beat 'em up, where you play as the heroes and have to fight through, kind of like Streets of Rage, something like that. What's up, Keely Chow?
Hey,
How have you
Keely.
been? Always glad to see you.
My window just froze. So there's a chance that I don't know what's going to happen if it does, but if it does freeze and I have to refresh the screen and I bounce out, I'll be right back if that
Okay.
does happen.
If it's a problem, I can share screen.
Yeah, if you want to load up the images, that might.
Okay.
Oh, retro. Hold on a sec. Oh boy, why are you doing this? God, I wish you could see my screen right now because it's all like faded white. Oh,
That's
boy.
weird.
Yeah, this has never happened to me before.
No
I
bueno.
wonder if. Oh man, come on.
All right, let me share screen now. And boom.
Okay, give me 1 second here. It won't let me click on it. I've got a spinning wheel. My mouse is a spinning wheel right now.
Oh, maybe you should jump out and back in. That might fix it if it'll let you do that.
Yeah, let's try that. All right. If it kills everything, we'll just come right back. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't think it will because you're still connected on your end.
Yeah, it'll keep it going. You have to actually end the show for it to stop the show, but you'll be
Okay.
able to jump out and then back in.
Okay.
I don't think my girlfriend knows I'm streaming. She's slamming the door. Hopefully that's not too loud. She's going in and out the house. Damn technology. Damn technological's got us again. Dirka 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 do. Yeah. So looks like he is locked up. He jumped out. So yeah, he should be back any moment now. So I guess it's just me now. So yeah. So basically Goddamn technologicals. There he is.
For
Welcome back.
reals, man. Jeez, sorry about that.
It's
Like,
okay.
um, okay. Were you ready to share?
Yeah,
Okay, because I see on your screen it's showing me your.
here we go.
Okay,
There's a look at Blastbot, what he looks like when you see him in like menu screens and when he's like interacting with characters in the story. That's what he looks like.
that's awesome. I like the design.
Thank you. I want something to be a little bit like kind of recognizable. Here's a
Yeah.
I'm experimenting with different blocks. I've already changed these blocks like 5 times since
Wow.
and trying different ones. I like the ship. Blastbot's sprite is really good. The player sprite, so that's working out great.
That
This
looks
is the original
fantastic.
sprite, and as you can see, it's much more detailed. It's cooler looking.
Uh-huh.
But the problem is, I discovered hardware limitations are gonna it'll cause problems. Like I could do this,
Mhm.
sprite, but there would be a lot of like flicker,
Gotcha.
where the characters if translucent at times and things like that,
Yeah.
and I don't like that. So, but this will likely be the Blastbot sprite we use in Brain Cage Beatdown, the beat 'em up game. So you'll be able to be able to play as Blastbot in that game. This is an older
No,
experiment with a level. As you can see, I've got some monsters. These are robots that fly around and do their things. But some more map block experiments
that
that I've
looks
done.
awesome, man.
Thank you. It's basically like Metroid, but with testosterone and steroids.
I
Is what it's going to be like. There's the
dig it.
logo I made, and this is what the power ups look like, and they actually blink. The red, the red and the blue switch,
Oh,
sides in the animation so that it kind of has a blinking effect.
sweet.
That's what I'm working on. This is the currency and the health. I haven't, some of this stuff's very basic. This is a character from another game I'm making, and it's a what do you call it? Platformer tower defense hybrid.
Hmm.
This here is
Whoa.
a boss in Blastbot, sprite for one of the bosses. Pretty large. Can't really tell from the screenshot, but it's very large. Takes up a lot of the screen.
That's huge. Yeah.
And yeah, I like big bosses, and I can't deny, So
Very cool.
but it just turned out I discovered as I was learning this software, it just turned out that I'm just good at 8-bit graphic design. So
Nice.
that's a great advantage for me because that's something that pretty much the entire 8-bit NES homebrew community kind of sucks at. Actually,
Yeah.
really sucks at. Most
Uh,
of the games don't have cool graphics,
Wow.
and there are a few that do. But not many. Most of the games are made like the graphic style is like early NES. What
Hmm.
I'm doing is more like late NES, where there was more detailed
Yeah.
blocks and backgrounds and things like that. So
Really cool. Really, really cool, man.
pretty pumped, man.
Yeah.
I just love that era of gaming. At some point I want to do 16-bit Sega Genesis
Ooh.
games because I absolutely love the Sega
Yeah.
Genesis. I think
Dude, the
that's my
Genesis
favorite
was,
console of all time.
yeah, man, it was awesome. Like,
Hmm.
we had a Super Nintendo and a Genesis. We constantly played the Genesis more than we did the Super Nintendo. Like,
Hmm.
we played the Super Nintendo. There were certain games that were, you know, specifically only for SNES, and same with the
Hmm.
Genesis too. But man, that was a great time in gaming. A lot of
Hmm.
good
It was
stuff.
fun.
Yeah, it
A lot
was.
of
It really was.
experimentation and a lot of really interesting different like I don't think people mostly thought in terms of genre a lot of times when they made games. I think they just had an idea for a game and just went with it and didn't know that they were even creating a new genre a lot of times.
Hmm.
You know?
Very true. Like, I think a lot of it, you know, it's a whole different world back then. But have you seen like Matthew Fowler, his whole thing for Tiger Blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
Cool stuff, man.
yeah, really cool stuff. And the fact that he actually got the artist from like the original Contra game
Mm,
cover and poster and stuff
mm-hmm.
to do that for Tiger Blue, that's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Such a
Super
cool,
cool.
cool thing. Yeah. Um, maybe you should talk to them. Maybe you guys could work something out together. Do a Blastbot versus Tiger Blue game or something.
Hmm. That could be fun.
Yeah.
That's something we plan on doing. In Brain Cage, what we're doing is we're making our games, and then what that means is we have an engine for that
Mhm.
genre of game. So basically, Blastbot will be our Metrovania platformer engine,
Nice.
and so essentially, like let's say somebody, a Comicsgate creator, because right now we only have plans on making these types of products for Comicsgate creators,
Nice.
and those who we feel have like an IP that's good for that kind of product. We're not just going to agree to make a game for somebody, but
Hmm.
like if it's something that would make a really good game, like
Yeah.
yeah, we'll make a video game for it. Maybe it won't make a good video game, but maybe it would be good as a collectible card game deck.
Yeah.
So we'll make a deck for them. Or maybe it's the perfect IP for a tabletop battle game. Then we'll make a tabletop battle game
Hmm.
for them or whatever. But basically, Brain Cage is building infrastructure for Comicsgate. That's one of our goals,
Nice.
is to get some infrastructure going to where us Comicsgate creators are empowered in ways that creators outside of Comicsgate are not.
Right on. I can dig that.
I think really we just need money. Us creators,
Yeah,
we need money,
we
and
do.
we need certain skills and production,
Yeah.
merchandising production, and things like that in place. And so, like, if we can produce these different types of products that bring in, good amounts of money to the creators, they can do all kinds of shit with their books.
Yeah.
You
Definitely.
know,
I mean, I'm right there with you because like you and I have been talking all morning, even prior to the show. But like, as far as what I'm working on, you know, I need to find an inker for my work. And today, it's such a rare commodity to even find someone that can ink, let alone is doing it by hand with a brush versus, you know, Clip Studio or Procreate or Photoshop. Um,
we can talk after the show. I can hook you up with some artists. I've got a
oh man,
hell of a network, dude, that I've been putting together the last few years of pencilers, inkers, colorists,
that'd be
the whole
rad.
deal.
I mean,
I'm sure we can find you somebody that'll match your IP.
and well, that's the thing that I keep coming back to too, though, is the one key thing I need first for my own stuff is an inker to ink over myself. The other thing would be after that would be a colorist if the book ends up being done in color. If not, then maybe just a colorist for a cover or something like that. But that's all a bit ways down the line. And on the other side of the same coin, I also need to start saving up some coin myself so that I can pay said inker and said
Mm-hmm.
colorist because um, even though I'm putting my heart and soul into everything that I'm working on of my characters and my story and my art, um, you know, I can take that hit of not being paid for my time and effort until the book comes out or whatnot. But the last thing I want to do is come to somebody else and expect them to do work and wait to get paid until like the campaign starts. And like it's really difficult you know to make funding happen as it is with everything. But I get really worried about stuff like that. And um,
I think it's a case by case basis per project.
yeah.
Um, like per campaign, really, I think would be the thing. It depends on what kind of creative team you have,
Mhm.
what kind of like for example with Gun Demon, I went with the traditional team of penciler, inker, and colorist.
Okay.
And for the Mighty Mechalore series, I have one artist. He's doing all of it, colors included. That's
That's
Isan
awesome.
Fazeli,
That's so
and
awesome.
he has a very painted style. Very very amazing. He is phenomenal,
Hmm.
truly a phenomenal artist, and
That's dope.
so it's a completely different. It's a completely different team. There's a decent chance that I will actually be the artist on my book, The Unstoppable Dreadnought.
Oh wow, awesome.
But it's going to take me a few months, I'm sure. Excuse me. It's going to take me a few months um, once I can put the time into it to, work at it every day and get back into
For sure.
get my skills
Getting
back.
into drawing
But I
shape.
have done some sketches recently, and I still have it. I can still create shapes, 3D looking shapes, on a 2D surface. I still have it, and if anything, my mind is much stronger as a developer and designer. So I think I'll have to practice techniques and get that all rolling. I'm starting with something simple. I'm starting with a cartoonish deck. My collectible card game Battlegate. I'm
Awesome.
doing a deck called oh shit, what am I called? Oh, the Creepies.
The creepy.
And
Dig it.
yeah, the Creepies. And the Creepies are cartoon versions of like the classic monsters, like Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, all that kind of those types of deals.
Hmm.
So that's going to be one deck. We're doing completely different decks from different genres and different art styles in Battlegate, and I've already got 8, maybe 9 decks in the works right now with different creators and artists.
Nice.
So we have everything we've got high fantasy, we've got sword and sorcery, we've got cyberpunk, we've got diesel punk, we've got superheroes, we've got plush style cartoon characters, which is Pedro Eng's deck. It's called Voodoo Business.
Oh wow.
We've got and then cartoonish, like kind of garbage pail kids is kind of what I'm going for with mine.
Nice.
Uh,
I
with
dig that.
just to have all these different genres, because I believe that's what's going to make Battlegate really successful, is having all these different decks from different genres and all that. That all can be used together to make your own decks. However you combine together into decks. So the very
Dude.
first Battlegate deck ever being made is the Gun Demon deck that's in the Gun Demon campaign.
Oh, sick.
And yeah, and very soon we're going to actually start the Battlegate campaigns, which will be for each deck. I was going to do 2 decks from 2 different creators of a
Hmm.
similar genre, but I decided it would just to like avoid any kind of potential problems or headaches. Like, let's say one creator comes through, but
Yeah.
the other one doesn't, or is causing problems, that could screw the other creator or something. So I'm thinking instead we're going to do 1 deck campaigns,
Okay.
and we're going to launch a deck campaign every 30 days. It'll only be a 30-day campaign, but it will go in demand for a year, so that people coming into Battlegate, let's say 4 months from now, will be able to go back and also get the ones that are already in demand. They can pick those decks up and get to playing, and get to making their own decks. But it is a game system that's designed to have minimal amount of micro managing, and it's built around fast battles between the characters. Like the character cards. Like each deck is 40 cards. 8 of those cards are the character cards,
Hmm.
and the other 32 are action cards. So
Okay.
basically, every character has 4 action cards that unlock their powers
Nice.
and their abilities and stuff. Like the Gun Demon card, for example, has 4 action cards. One of them is called Gun Love, for example, where he, he's just always does an extra 1 point of damage, ranged attack damage, because he just
Dude.
loves to shoot. He shoots all the time, so it gives him that extra damage. Things like that. So when you play Gun Demon on the battlefield, then you happen to draw that action card. You got that in your hand. You can go ahead and play that action card. Now he's got the gun love active on
Um,
him, and it's basically all about the characters fighting each other. So
dope.
less about spells or anything like that. It's more about the characters. So
Right on.
that's faster battles too. So it's
Yeah.
more action packed and funner, I think.
That sounds exciting, man. Um, let me Let me pull your campaign back up again.
While you're doing that, I need to grab a bottle of water. Be back
Go for it. Go
momentarily.
for it. Uh, let's see. Oh, man. Recently
Just one
closed.
second. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Take your time, man. I'm trying to find the link because apparently my laptop hates me.
I think all technology is out to kill us.
I I don't disagree. Oh, what the hell did it just do? Oh, son of a bitch. Now it's trying to add me back under a new screen. No, I'm already in there. I can
Yeah,
close
what
that.
Wayne said. He said 16-bit would be amazing. Yeah, I honestly I would love. Not would I will love making a Genesis game. I think the graphics for it because I think I struggle. I'm really good at the 8-bit NES graphics, but I kind of struggle at times because you have such great limitations. Amount of colors that you can fit together in palettes,
Uh huh.
and how much space the sprites can take up, and things like those types of limitations that 16-bit has a lot less of,
Yeah.
especially the color limitations and the amount of movement, like moving objects on the screen. In fact, I believe you can have a lot more of those on the Sega Genesis. But
Right on.
yeah, I think it's going to be fun, and something Tank and I have been both brainstorming and developing is how to do cartridge DLC.
Ooh.
So basically, you would have, like, for example, the Blast Bot. Like you back the campaign and you get the Blast Bot game, right? So then we will have these DLC cartridges, which are similar to the Game Genies. Do you remember the Game Genies for the NES that you'd plug a cartridge into it and then you'd
Yeah.
plug that
Yeah.
into the console and it would give you new content, and it would give you different things you could do.
Hmm.
So what we're looking at doing is using that technology to create DLC for the cards. That way, for example, you're playing Blastbot, but then you would be able to get the Gun Demon DLC cart. I call it DLC, but it's not really downloadable content. It's just it's additional content. But it would be extra maps for the Blastbot game, but you could actually play as Gunny, from Gun Demon rather than Blastbot, and his abilities would be different. He'd move differently and all that.
Yeah.
And there we are. Gunny to his friends, death to his enemies. That's Gunny.
It looks fantastic, man.
Thank
I
you.
hope if Ethan does a stream, I highly recommend you know make sure you throw a super chat at him and ask him to share it because I think you'll get a lot. I don't understand why you only have 68 backers. You should
Well,
be.
you didn't see that endorsement that he gave?
I did actually. I did
I
see
sent you
that.
the video clip of it.
Yeah, it
Y
actually. I know you mentioned you were going to send it through. It never came through on my end, but
Oh,
I was watching when it happened live, so I actually do remember it. Um, my I would heavily like. I know John Malin's doing his closeout stream Thursday night on Ethan's channel. They're doing Jack Show on Ethan's show this week. I would
that'd be a good one
definitely,
to super chat on. Yeah.
yeah, I would recommend, you know, one or two if you have time to.
Oh,
If you,
definitely. I've been absolutely flat broke, is why I haven't done more of it. But
I hear you, man. I
yeah,
totally hear you.
Tank actually super chatted it for me, and that was
Um,
how that's how he saw Gun Demon, him meaning Ethan, and gave the really awesome endorsement. but that was yeah, it was definitely worth it. But yeah, I look at it like those backers. That's actually really good. I think for just under 2 months for a
Yeah.
brand new creator, and I even fudged things on the campaign. Like I really suck at the Indiegogo interface.
Hmm.
And
I
from
hear
here
it's a
on
real pain
out,
in
I'm
the
going to
ass.
hire somebody to handle that, to manage
Yeah.
my page like that for me, because
I,
I really suck at it. I don't know why, but I just do. You can't be good at everything, you
I
know.
hear that the whole Indiegogo page process is a giant pain in the ass from
Hmm.
almost everybody who's done it, except for those who have done it, like many times. It's like, hey, you
Yeah,
get used to it, but it's nerve wracking.
yeah, and what I'm probably going to do, not probably, I'm definitely going to do. Originally, I wasn't going to run on Kickstarter
Hmm.
because of Malin,
Yeah,
asking us not to do so, but it's just really, I've come to see it's just not a luxury. It's really a luxury to be able to protest like that, because I have to use every platform I can.
right. Totally.
I need to make 10 grand at least
Yeah,
off of for this book, and I've already got somewhere between 6 to 7 grand in it already, and it's like whatever I get, whatever I can't raise, it's going to come out of my pocket to get the rest of it, to
I
get the
hear you.
book done,
Yeah,
and that's rough, dude. I'm struggling,
for
and
sure.
I just really need this thing to be funded, and I'm going in demand after
Yeah.
this campaign ends. I am going to go in demand for a while on Indiegogo for sure, but I think I'm going to launch on Kickstarter as soon as I do the in demand. I don't know
Okay.
how long Kickstarter is going to take, though. I'm brand new, obviously. I already suck at Indiegogo, so
Well,
um,
hopefully the plus side is you'll be able to just copy and paste the info you need from your Indiegogo over there. I'm not exactly sure how Kickstarter works either, but hey, I do not like. I think it's a great idea to go with Kickstarter, even though I know a lot of the heads of Comicsgate, a lot of the big names anyway, say that you should stick to Indiegogo. And the thing is, I do, part of me, I do agree that, Indiegogo has shown themselves to be friendly to us and friendly to the money that Comicsgate makes. Um, and Kickstarter has definitely shown that they are not. Um, but the situation being what it is, fucking do it, man.
I
Do it.
look at it like this, man. All of the platforms that we have to use to do
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
they're all owned by our enemies.
Yeah. It's
All of
true.
them.
True.
Every one
Well,
of them.
and
Facebook, Twitter,
yeah.
Instagram, Reddit, everything. It's
Yep.
all owned and ran by our fucking enemies. It's like how I can't cut myself. Here's the thing: is a creator has to find their crowd.
Hmm.
Every IP, every brand has its crowd, and you have to find those people. There, as you can see, there's quite a bit of my crowd for Gun Demon in Comicsgate.
Yeah, definitely.
That's we're at almost 70 backers, and this is pretty much almost excuse me, a lot of it, I would say. Oh man, getting hiccups or something. um, I would say probably 80% of that crowd, maybe 70%, is Comicsgate primarily. There are some people who aren't Comicsgate, and they're not anti-Comicsgate, they're just comic fans that back campaigns on,
Hmm.
and they use Facebook. There are actually quite a bit of comic book fans on Facebook. So
Yeah.
if you get in the right groups and you post in those, you will get some interaction. Not a lot at times. It depends, I guess. And here's another thing too. This is something I want all creators. I mean, several out there, of course, know. I know this already, but it seems like there are a lot who don't realize it. That you have to experiment with your model. You have to develop your own model, and you have to experiment it, and you have to find your audience. You can't just copy and paste what these other creators did in Comicsgate that you watched. I mean, you can learn things from stuff like, for example, Rob Arnold's tutorial for crowdsourcing on Indiegogo and all that. You can learn some valuable things there. But things that work for Rob or things that work for Ethan or things that work for whoever, it's not necessarily going to work for you or your IP.
Right.
Each of us is a different set of variables. Who the creator is, how good we are promoting, what kind of personality we are. Like some people are probably, they think the book looks great, but they think I'm a douchebag because they think I'm a fucking tinfoil hat,
Uh,
freaking weirdo or something. They think I'm a David Icke weirdo or something like that. Others are going to not care about that, not care who I am. They're going to see the book and be like, wow, that's awesome. Others are going to look at the book and be like, meh, I saw shit like that in the 90s. I don't really care. I'm not
nah,
impressed.
I
You know what
think
I
it
mean?
looks like
Like,
a lot of fun, man. I think you just need to get the right eyes on it, and that's
mhm.
definitely why I would suggest, like, if Ethan does a stream tonight, or for sure he's streaming Thursday night for the Jack Show. Um, I would highly recommend getting a super chat into him and saying, "Hey, we are way under on what we need on backers, and there's
Well, I'm
only."
right there with you, bro. I'm definitely, I actually, we just came up with about 30, 40 bucks or so or 50 bucks or so to do some super chats. So I was
Oh,
already planning on doing it. Yeah.
dude,
I'm going to throw,
awesome.
I hate to do it, but I'm also going to throw probably a
Hey,
little bit of money at a Facebook ad. The super chats, I'm happy to do.
I would
I
I
wish
would
I had the money to
recommend.
do more super chats because these guys are out. I know how hard it is to be a content creator on YouTube. These guys are at it every day. Like Ethan
Yeah,
and these guys deserve to make good money doing this, especially when
definitely.
they promote people. Like he didn't have to
And
give Gun
see,
Demon a really great endorsement like he did. He really didn't. All he had to do was read my super chat and move on to the next one.
yeah,
But he stopped and he took like 5 minutes to sit there and scroll down my fucking page
yeah,
and show it off and comment on all of the images and
yeah.
crack jokes and stuff. And it was just,
It looks
wow.
great, man. Like
Thank
that's I
you.
think the important thing that people really gather. The art's beautiful. The story sounds like a lot of fun, and I hope that this jumps for you, and that's definitely why I'm suggesting Super Chat Ethan. I wouldn't bother with doing the Facebook ad, in my opinion. Giving money to Facebook and Instagram for their advertising really seems to me like just wasting money. Um, put it to where your audience already is, and that's in Ethan's chat. If not in Ethan's chat, also Michael Bancroft's chat. Um, promote it
Yeah,
there.
I'm hitting different communities for sure.
Yeah.
And something I do actively on a regular basis
Mhm.
that I wish more creators in Comicsgate would be doing is trying to draw in more backers to Comicsgate.
Hey, are you friends with Ethan on Facebook?
Yeah,
Okay. Um, when we get off of here, send just message him. Okay, send him a message. Just ask him if he could, promote it for you, and you know, promise to super chat him and ask him to do it when he goes live next.
I don't bother messaging him. I did it a while back. He's never responded, so I just don't really bother. But I'll definitely super chat his show.
Okay.
He
I
gets a
think,
lot of messages from people, man. He's pretty well known. He's got a
I'm
pretty
sure,
big
but
community.
I
So
guess my point is, like, he's already aware of your book. Just see if letting him know that, hey, you know we're short of our funding. Could I ask your help to you know get some eyes on this and see where it goes?
I think
'Cause-
I'll get more help from the guys up at the top when I fulfill my book because
yeah.
they all seem to have the which I think is probably a good idea on their parts. It'll protect them for sure, but they're not really promoting anybody who has not fulfilled yet
Mm.
a book. So once Gun Demon number one fulfills, I'm sure that'll get a lot more support.
when are
It's
you when are you planning on fulfilling?
Well, I'd like to do it by early December. I want to get those books to people around then. I
Right.
did give, I believe it was February 1st, or maybe it was January 1st, I have to look again, as the actual date, just to give more leeway.
Mhm.
But I want to get it. I have an efficient team and everything, so there's no reason why we couldn't, get it done by, get it shipped to people by early December, and that way I can pitch it as a Christmas gift.
Mhm.
People can back this to get Christmas gifts for this coming Christmas. For family members, friends, whatever. So, including the Battlegate deck and the whole deal. Um, as long as pandemic nonsense doesn't get in the way, that then I should very easily be able to do that. Even if I have to get like stop working on Brain Cage for a few months and stop working on all this other stuff and just go get a day job, for a few months or whatever. And my girlfriend and I, because her and I talked about this, worst case scenario, we'll put up the rest of the money. You know what I mean? To get it fucking made. This book needs to be made. It
Yeah.
needs to be in people's hands. It's the beginning of everything we're working on. The movie is, I mean, as it's looking right now, the movie is more likely to get the backing than the book.
Oh,
is, the, is the funny thing, but it's going to be a little bit before we get to make the movie.
yeah.
We've got a documentary. It's a zeitgeist style documentary, by the way. We've got one of those in the works with the
Oh, wow.
investor behind that, who's also the investor behind Brain Cage Cinematics, our movie production studio.
Okay.
And well, actually, as we're in pre-production for that documentary, which that one's going to take a good while. There's a lot of detail. There's a lot of data there to go over and source and everything there. There's a lot. I actually have to learn about the subject matter too. So a lot of interviews that need to be conducted. So that's going to be a work in progress. The first movie we're making is The Accidental Guru, starring the comedian Rodney Norman.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah,
Wow.
we're going to be starting pre-production for that here really soon. If you haven't seen Rodney's comedy, go to YouTube, check out his channel, Rodney Norman. He is hilarious.
Okay.
Uh,
We'll do
and
that.
his humor is totally dry bar.
Yeah.
He doesn't cuss. There's no sexual situation, none of that kind of stuff. It's wholesome, and he's actually very funny. He plays a very funny character,
Cool.
and so we're building his movie around that character, and we're going to be starting pre-production really really soon. I mean, some elements of pre-production, some aspects of it I've already been working on and everything, but we're going to be really focusing on that here pretty soon. But
Yeah.
as soon as we're done with The Accidental Guru, we're starting the test shooting for Gun Demon. And I already have the guy who's going to play Gunny in the mocap suit. I already have him recruited.
Nice.
He's the perfect build, and he's a very smart guy. He's a very creative guy,
Cool.
and he's already training to move around like Gunny. It's exciting. I can't wait to see Gunny start coming to life. And see, Tree Goblin knows. He knows Rodney, who Rodney Norman is. Rodney is very funny,
Nice.
and
Yeah, I'll check them out.
he's what we need right now, man. We need some good, wholesome, just goofy fun
Yeah. I
that
agree.
has no politics attached, no anti-politics, no. It's just he's just poking fun at at the ridiculousness of some aspects of our society and
Yeah.
things like that. But
Yeah. I will most definitely check them out. That sounds like
yeah,
fun.
he's a good time, man. I really am looking forward. And this is what's funny for me, as I've been working for a lot of years in indie film, trying to get movies launched. I've been traveling around the country, networking, and trying to get money to start a studio and to launch movies. And I never, for the life of me, dreamed that the first feature film that I would end up making with director credits, that is, that I'd end up directing, would be a freaking comedy movie of all genres.
Mhm.
Because you as an indie filmmaker, if you're smart, you'll stay away from comedy, because most indie filmmakers just do not have access to pro level comedians, to be able to make a comedy movie really work.
Yeah.
and experienced comedy writers. I think it's probably the most difficult genre.
Yeah. Comedy
Uh,
is difficult. It's that's half the problem is experience and ability. And
mhm.
when you look at society today and the way comedies are made today, you look at SNL today, what a fucking joke that is. Um, it's it's sad, man, because
Yeah.
we could have brilliant, great stuff, and we
Well, they
don't.
think that Kevin Hart and Melissa McCarthy are comedians. That's what the mainstream,
Yeah,
industry thinks. Those people are not funny at all.
it's
They
just
are just not funny. Kevin's just a little mouthy coke addict, is all he is.
yeah.
That's all he looks like to me, just a big mouth coke addict.
Hmm.
Um, Melissa is just
She's just
ugh,
fat and loud.
fat and loud and stupid and just
It's,
she kind of represents everything we can't stand about Karens and SJWs. It's all
Mhm.
in one chick.
That's fair.
Can't stand it, but it's not comedy, whatever it is. And
No, it's not. That's a mockery of comedy. That's
yeah,
bad comedy. It's not even bad comedy. You can't even call it that. It's just fucking trash.
yeah. So I think the big middle finger to the mainstream entertainment industry, video entertainment industry, is perfect coming out of the gate with a really funny comedy movie
Hmm.
and something that isn't lewd, something that isn't vulgar. It doesn't have a bunch of titties and a bunch of drug shit throughout it to try to make it cool to the kids. All the easy, low hanging fruit stuff. It's not
Hmm.
really any of that.
Hmm.
It's just good, wholesome, silly, goofy entertainment. Some of it'll make people think a little bit, look at themselves, maybe, hopefully,
Yeah.
and look at some concepts maybe a little differently. But the fun thing that I'm really going to enjoy as a director is okay. Two of my favorite movies of all time are Starman and K-Pax. Okay, I
Hmm.
absolutely adore the Stranger in a Strange Land story.
Hmm.
Right, that type of story. Love it. In fact, Gun Demon is like that. The first miniseries of Gun Demon is set around the Stranger in a Strange Land. That's where a lot of most of the humor comes from. Is Gunny not understanding things, and he's in Rome, but he doesn't know how the Romans do it.
Right. I gotcha.
So but yeah, this is going to be one of those where like in K-Pax in Starman, you don't really know for sure. Well, Starman, you do know he's an alien, but in K-Pax, I like it especially. It's one of my favorite movies of all times because you don't know if he's actually an alien or is he a mentally ill guy who's delusional.
Hmm.
And at some point in the story, you'll see something that makes you think, "Oh, he's obviously mentally ill."
Right.
Okay. Then you'll see another scene after that, or maybe a couple scenes later, where you're like, "Wait a minute, how did he know that kind of stuff? How did he do that? Like, what human could do that? Maybe he is an alien."
Hmm.
And it keeps flip flopping the audience to where we don't really know what he is. And so that's what I'm going to have a lot of fun with the Accidental Guru because we're going to take that approach with Rodney's character, Leonard McCrunsky. So, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. You won't know whether he's alien or he's empowered by some divine being, or maybe he's an idiot that just Forrest Gumps through crazy situations and comes out smelling like roses or whatever. But you won't know. You won't really know. Maybe it'll be answered at the end. Maybe it won't. Maybe in the next movie, we'll see. I
Right
don't want to
on, man.
spoil it. It's going to be a ride, guys. It's going to be a fun ride, but
Very cool.
it's going to be a goofy ride. But after that, there's going to be the Gun Demon movie,
Nice.
and it's the same story that's in the Gun Demon, this book right here. It's the same story. The movie is going to get made, regardless of how much money these comics. See, this is the thing. I want to get more Comicsgate creators to understand. You don't need Hollywood or Netflix
Yeah.
to have your IPs adapted to the screen. You just need to know how to fucking network. You need to get the right people. It takes time. If you really want to do it, you can do it. It takes time. I'm lucky because I'm a director and I've got a lot of experience with video production and all that. So I already know what I need in a team. I already have most of my production team already, anyways, handpicked over the years from people in my, from people in my network. I already know, who most of these guys. I am looking for a director of photography. I want to get somebody special for the accidental guru for sure,
Hmm.
and somebody who's a veteran. Rodney and I had a good little talk, and I told him I think that's one of the areas we should really spend the money in the budget is make sure we get a really great director of
Yeah,
photography. I
that's a
want,
good
'cause
idea.
I'm great with cameras myself. I could set up shots and all that. I could scene block it, like as a director, I can scene block, but I can also operate the camera, do the shots. But somebody who is a really great and very experienced director of photography works magic, cinema magic.
Yep.
I know techniques. That guy knows 50 more techniques than I know.
Hmm.
For doing some of the same things. Some will look better in some scenarios than others, but it's an art form to these types. So that's why I'm still actively looking for that right DP for this one. But whew, it's a lot of work, man, and that's why
Yeah.
everybody isn't doing it, dude. It's
Yep.
the reason why I'm sitting here saying that. I don't have a day job. See, my girlfriend and we both agreed a little over 3 years ago that for us to launch this company like this, I need to work at this full time. So she holds down the day job type stuff, holds down the house, that kind of stuff. And I work at this all around the clock. When I'm awake, I'm working on all this stuff. I
Nice.
rarely ever leave the house, and it's just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And if I have to get a day job for a while, that's going to slow me down big time. There's so
Hmm.
much work that has to be done behind the scenes to make all of these projects happen.
Yep.
And some creatives are difficult to deal with sometimes, and there's stresses there, and there's things that's got to, you just, it's sometimes it's like herding cats. But I will say, my team on Gun Demon are all reliable people. They're all professional. I've had no problems with any of them. And so really it's just a matter of money. I just got to get the money to these guys for them to make the pages. So
Nice.
as soon as this closes, I'm starting to pay them, and they're going to start producing pages. And I have a feeling that that's really going to bring more people
Yeah.
to the campaign as well.
Definitely.
They're going to see the book being produced,
Yeah. The more art
and
they see, the more excited they'll be.
yeah.
But on that note, bro, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours, and I actually have to run. I gotta get out the door in a few minutes to go do some things. But it was amazing having you here and hearing your story. And I sincerely hope that we can find you some new, fresh backers for Gun Demon. And
That'd be fabulous, man.
yeah,
I need as many as I can get this whole kick off this whole universe and allow this vision to be fully realized. And it's a lot of years in the making. It's beyond even those 3 years that I've been working specifically on these current IPs.
mhm.
This is something that's been in the works for a long, long time. So thanks for having me, brother. It's a
You got it,
pleasure.
bro. Happy to have you.
Great to get to know another one of my freaking Comicsgate people that I see out there all the time in the chat, man, and
Yeah,
hailing
man.
each other.
Happy to have you here. We will definitely do this again for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
and I'll have to have you over on the Brain Cage channel sometime.
I would love to. That would be fantastic. Oh
I
man.
am going to be streaming again very soon, by the way. We're just working through stuff right now, dealing with things. So it's a bit of but yeah, those of you who are unfamiliar with any of this, come watch. We've got a lot of videos up on the Brain Cage Multimedia channel. I'll go ahead and throw the link down. And I'm permanently banned off of Twitter until I can afford to buy a VPN and a burner phone.
Oh man. Wow.
So basically,
Thanks.
I have to use Facebook
Gotcha.
for my, normally if people contact me, if they contact me from Twitter, they do so by contacting Tank.
Okay.
But Tank is, like I said, I don't know where he is now. Here's the Brain Cage Multimedia channel, and then I'll go ahead and, of course, link the campaign.
Yeah. Here. I'll.
I hope Tank's all right.
Yeah. I
So
hope so too, man. It's been a minute since I've seen him on Twitter.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen him around for about 5, 6 days, almost a week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here's the link to Gun Demon. And you guys can find me. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Gregory L. LeVitre, spelled the same way you see it right here. I have a few profiles, but the Gregory L. LeVitre is my active profile that I mostly use.
Okay. Hey, where did you post that link?
In the chat.
On can you put it in the private chat? That way I
Oh
can.
yeah, I don't have. That's right. I don't have a wrench, so I can't do that. Let me see. Private chat. Here we go. There's the Indiegogo, and let me find the brain cage.
Okay. I just shared the Indiegogo. So yeah, the give me the brain cage one and I'll
Okay.
put that up.
Yeah, and it does look like I am starting a new channel, and I think we're going to be streaming on Rumble. Uh,
Nice.
and yeah, because I don't know if you guys know this, but on Rumble, you can immediately start getting super chats.
Oh really?
Yes. So you have the whole range of features open to you. And also no censorship. So we can go on there and talk Agenda 2030 to our heart's content and say whatever words we want to say. So I have a channel. I'm starting with a group of people. Some are comic book creators, some aren't. But it's called Nerd World Order.
Nice.
And I'll be announcing more about that really soon. But yeah, we're gonna call our chat the Illuminati.
Greg,
And
are you on Instagram?
I am. I need to start using that more often, though. I'm
Yeah.
really not
Follow me over
making
there.
use of
I'll
it.
throw you a follow back. And, you know,
Awesome, will do.
all right. Yeah, and hey, Tree Goblin, if you're on there too, throw a follow. I'll follow you back.
I
Um,
still have to learn how to use Instagram. The thing that really bothers me is that you have to use a cell phone to
yeah,
upload
it's
things,
annoying.
and it's just whatever. But yeah, I just gotta start using it.
Right.
Honestly,
Well, it was great having you, man. This was a fun show, and I will take us out with the open.
good talk. Peace, guys.
Take care, guys.